So the best shape of my life until one day I couldn't put my foot down. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't get up. I couldn't walk. And everything changed. We had come home about 2 days later from doing the Tough Mudder. Just saying. And I couldn't walk. I was like, I'm no baby. I am no baby. Y'all know what I'm talking about. High threshold of pain here?
Negative.
Okay? Some of you are babies. That's okay, I'm no baby. But when I couldn't get out of the car and walk, something was wrong. And by that night, something was really wrong. And I was like, I told my then husband at the time, I think I need to go to the emergency room. I need to go to the walking clinic. Something is not right. Looked fine. Didn't even have a swollen ankle. Didn't understand it. So I went. When I was there, I passed out, whatever. They decided to take me in an ambulance, cross the street to the hospital. So they pumped me full of steroids and gave me some morphine, and they sent me home and said, go to an orthopedic. And I went to the orthopedic the next day, and they put me in an ankle boot, and they said, go to the PT. So I went to the PT, and he was like, I don't really see anything wrong with your ankle, but we'll work it, we'll do the PT. So we did that. And this went on for about 2 weeks. I got released from PT. And there were days where it was good and I could kind of walk, but there were days when I could not walk. And the pain was really bad, but I wasn't sweating, I didn't have fever, I didn't have chills, my arm wasn't falling off, I didn't have a bleeding leg. I looked like this. So, in a span of about 6 weeks, I took 3 ambulance rides to the hospital in severe excruciating pain. One night, so much pain, I went in a green t-shirt and red underwear, and I remember thinking, oh my God, I look like a Christmas present. We didn't even put pants on me. I was in that much pain. It was bad. I couldn't walk. I couldn't put on my shoes or socks. I couldn't bend over. I couldn't put on my pants. I couldn't put on my underwear. I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. It was really humiliating. I couldn't roll out of bed, in bed. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't stand. I couldn't. I just couldn't. I went from working out 4 hours a day and doing marathons and lifting barbells above my head and holding both my kids on my hips to I can't do anything. Crawling on my hands and knees on the hardwood floor in my house. Hard, like real hardwood. I couldn't do anything, but I looked fine. Get up! Get up! Just get up! There's nothing wrong with you. Get up! What's wrong with you? Get up! My father-in-law had been visiting my ex-husband. That's what they were saying to me. That's all I hear in my head is get up. It took me 15 minutes, and that's not an exaggeration, to get from my bedroom about where Steve is to my kitchen. It was a nice house, but it wasn't that big. 15 minutes to crawl and to hold myself and get up the wall and shimmy down to the kitchen so I could get to my Frosted Mini Wheats and orange juice, because that's what I was living on at the time. It hurt so bad. The pain was eating me alive from the inside out, and they just wanted me to get up. Don't you think I would get up if I could get up? If I could get up and walk, I would get up and walk. I would get up and move. I would take a step. I couldn't get up. There's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. Get up. Don't be a baby. Quit milking it. Get the F up. Laughing at me, joking at me, downplaying it. I look normal. There's nothing wrong with you. Get up. Doctor sending me home. I went to a neurologist. I went to orthopedics. I went to general doctors. Blood work. I stayed for a week in the hospital. They admitted me to try to figure it out. Oh, you got the rhabdo, the CrossFit disease. You work out too much. Oh, it's your hormones. Go put your feet in hot water. Take this pill, take that pill. Morphine, steroids, again and again and again. They just kept pumping me full of drugs and sending me on my way and telling me it was in my head. I was fighting for my life, and I didn't know it. What the hell's wrong with me? I was fine. Literally, my legs, my hips, I couldn't sleep. There were nights where I had a walker, and I literally held onto the walker in like 2 pairs of yoga pants because I thought the compression of them would help take the pain away. And I would try to stand there and sleep standing up because I couldn't sleep. The pain was so bad. I'd try to put a tennis ball where it hurt because it hurt in my back and it hurt in my hips. And that would work for a little bit. And then one night, I was in so much pain, I decided to go crawl out of bed and roll out of bed and go get in the tub and fill it up with hot water. That gave me relief. One of those jacuzzi tubs, right? The big ones that you got to climb into it. So I filled that sucker up and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I got in there. I mean, everybody get in the jacuzzi tub and you get in there so hot like it burns your skin and you're like bright red. I take showers like that every night. I love it. Maybe it reminds me on some level of that. And I got in there, and then when you get out and you're kind of lightheaded, you're discombobulated, and it's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was able to crawl out, all the energy that I had, and roll out onto the bathroom floor. Cold tile floor, and I laid there naked with my face on the floor, crying quietly, like the ugly cry. You know what I'm talking about. Where you're crying so hard and just nothing's coming out, but you're crying, it's there. And I silently did that until he woke up. And he found me on the floor, probably at the time that he had to go to work. Why didn't you wake me up? I don't remember. In my head now, when I tell the story, I think, one, I probably couldn't. But 2, I feel like I was punishing myself. Because remember, I was living a lie. I wasn't being honest with myself and with my family. Certainly wasn't being honest with God. I didn't even really believe in him at that point. So I felt like at some level that if I just laid there on that floor naked, crying, cold, wet, in pain, just settle in it and suffer in it and stay here. I'll be fine. I got used to it after 6 or 7 weeks of it. People telling me there's nothing wrong with me, it's all in your head. It wasn't long after that it was just so bad. I called a 9th doctor. 9 doctors I had been to, 1 hospital stay, a whole week, a PT, who I'm not talking about today, but he is one of the ones that saved my life. So listen to your physical therapist. I called the 9th doctor, and she was a woman that had given me a steroid shot, to go run the marathon, because you shouldn't do that. But I was like, I'm running the marathon, so jack me up, whatever I got to do to get it done. That's us crazy athletes, and we're into fitness. We gotta make it happen no matter what. It was my dad's birthday. It was December 9th, and I called her, and she's like, oh yeah, I can see you tomorrow. But I'm about 30 miles away in Fayetteville. I was living in Atlanta at the time. So you're gonna have to drive, and I'm at the hospital. I'm not in my normal office, which was like, 2 minutes from my house. I was in that much pain, I was like, I do it. And then y'all know me, I don't go outside 5 miles of my radius. All right. So when my ex-husband got home, I said, we going to the doctor tomorrow, and I think I need to pack a bag. I don't think I'm coming home. So the next day we drove to the hospital, and she took one look at me and she said, you're not going home until we figure out what's wrong with you. 9 doctors before one actually paid attention to me. I was fighting and advocating for myself until somebody actually listened to me and saw through me. It didn't stop there. So, made it to the hospital. Again, more tests, more blood work, and I'm talking CT scans, x-rays, ultrasounds, again, without contrast, more MRIs, another, I don't know, you name it, I went through it. And if anybody in here has ever dealt with a medical illness, or you know what I'm talking about, test after test after test, you live and breathe it, waiting and hoping that they just find something you're not crazy. There's something wrong with you. You don't want anything to be wrong with you, but it would be nice to know if there is so that we can figure it out and we can fix it. We just need to fix it. Everybody just wants to fix it. So, I was there in the hospital all by myself because remember, we got 2 little kids and we live in Atlanta and there is nobody around to help us. My mom is in Florida and she was coming back and forth to try to help, and then my ex is providing, so he's at work and he's trying to figure that out. So I'm in the hospital by myself, fighting again for myself. We're gonna figure this out. Oh yeah, okay, whatever. You're just, sarcastic, condescending, you lose your hope. It's kind of hard. And then when you don't have faith, they're never gonna figure it out. So they took me to another ultrasound room and they gelled me up with all that nasty stuff. And she started doing my leg and my groin and my hips and everywhere, and I'm rolling my eyes at her and probably being a total you-know-what because I'm tired of all these tests. And she says, okay, clean yourself up and I'll be right back. And they're gonna wheel me around. And that's when he came in the room. He had like Rob Lowe hair. I love you, baby. But he had like, you know what I'm talking about? He had like that sexy movie star hair. And he was like old enough to be my dad, but you know, he was a good looking doctor and he had like that beard thing going on, but not a full beard. And I made eye contact with him. Not that way though. And he had the saddest eyes. And they locked with mine. And I knew. I knew. All that fighting, all that advocating, all that uncertainty, all that unknowing, all that get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. He knew what was wrong with me. And he walked over to me and he put his hand on mine. And he said, we found a mass. It's an abscess, and it's growing, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's in your hip, and it's in your legs, and it's in your spine. And it's moving. And we gotta get it out of you because it's going to your brain, and you will be paralyzed, or you will be dead in a few hours. 9 doctors. Lots and lots of tests. Human error missed that my white blood cell count was more than 38,000, through the roof. Human error. But because I'm stubborn, I kept fighting for myself. I'll never forget his eyes. He knew immediately what was wrong with me. And so he said, the good news is that the best spine surgeon is on call today. The best one in Atlanta, in Georgia, is here today, right now. And he wasn't supposed to be. Somebody else was supposed to be here today. So we're gonna go do this right now here. Sign this clipboard. Sign your life away. I actually asked for a second opinion. I did. I said, I have babies at home. They're little, they were 3 and 5 at the time. He said, yeah, there's no time for a second opinion. So I signed my life away. I could die, I could be paralyzed. That's that. But the other choice was die or be paralyzed. Die or be paralyzed, die or be paralyzed. Die or be paralyzed, die or be paralyzed. There is no in between. So I signed the papers. And there were 7 white coats within less than 30 minutes all around me because it just happened to be a really rare infection. It was not common in someone like me. It was not something they had seen only in textbooks and read about. And they actually told me that before going into surgery, and I remember this. Yeah, let's sign our life away, die or be paralyzed. Oh, and by the way, your science project and all these doctors are gonna learn along the way with you. Okay, you worked out. I'm here. You count down from 10. You know, you count down from 10 and it's like 10, 9, boom, you're out, right? And then you just pray to God you wake up. Most people stop there. I'm gonna tell you a little bit more, but I'm gonna save it for something. I wanna show you something that we've put together because you don't have to let it stop you, your pain, even if nobody can see it. Your fight and your struggle is mostly with yourself. So I've used mine. This is my fight story. I've used it to help myself move forward and to live alive and to be relentless, but really to help others. I don't want you to stay settled. I don't want you to accept life as is. I want you to be able to fight and advocate for yourself. You gotta have something pulling you. So,